Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to The Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, which is presented by Play Alberta. Thank you to everyone for listening across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams at edmontonsportstalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, Apple Music for those watching on YouTube, as well as anyone listening on podcast, wherever you make your get your podcasts. No Dustin Nielson once again. We got it. Hey, it's a busy day in the National Football League. We've got 3 games. We've got the Lions. We've got the Packers coming up here. So I'm Adawanek, the number one host of this show, has to be here on a day like today, because why would we go with the backup host on a day like today on the Lock Shop? So I am here today, joined alongside soon by Huss. Hashtag justice for the Lock Shop. Hashtag justice for Huss. That's what we need to be getting out there. So, yeah, it's... I'll just say, yesterday on Oil Stream, Dusty comes on. He's like, I had a meeting. I had to do things. Well, why couldn't that meeting happen during the Oil Stream and not during Lock Shop? The disrespect towards this show, it's unacceptable, but I'm here with you. And that's all we're going to go with on that guy for today. We're going to focus on some football today. And some hockey as well. Actually, we have no hockey to focus on. Well, we'll get Huss's thoughts on the Jets game from yesterday. But today, it's about football. As we will have kickoff very shortly. I don't know how far behind our TV is. They're about to kick off in Detroit. Or they have kicked off in Detroit, depending on your timing. Ooh, just completely silver helmets for the Detroit Lions. I like that. And we're underway. Thanksgiving is underway. We've got the triple header. Lions, Packers. We've got Chiefs, Cowboys coming up, and then Ravens, Bengals to close out this night. If you're looking for a spot to watch Ravens and Bengals, you could head down to Century Casino, where Sally's Sports Bar within Century Casino, just off Fort Road. Lieutenant Eric will be there later today as well for Ravens and Bengals. Larzy, Maddie wants to rule over all the shows at EST. No, I don't. I want other people. I want other people to have their time on air. But sometimes you have to do what is necessary to put the best foot forward for that show. And on a day like today, you just have to go in and put the best foot forward on the Lock Shop. And really, it's the people that are committed to the Lock Shop that should be here on a very holy day when it comes to sports. I almost say, like, Thanksgiving is a solid day. It always has been for me. I've mentioned this before for anyone who's been around. They will have heard me say this in the past. I always had a very good job throughout junior high and high school of getting teachers to put football on TV. I would go to them like, hey, can we get the football game on? And my success rate, I want to say, was probably like 80% plus. A lot of my teachers eventually just put it on. They silently, but they always had it on. I did a very good job of that. Nowadays, kids, like, they don't even know the struggles. They don't know the struggles that we had to go through when these games were on. And you had the big tube TV that was hanging from the ceiling. You had to convince your teacher to put that on. Now everyone has it on their damn phones. It'd be easy to watch that in class these days. You don't need to get the teacher to get going. It'd be so simple. Actually, I don't even know, like, I'm sure like most people, especially like high school, have laptops.
I think that might be a thing now. I remember, the best day at school growing up was whenever the teacher would roll in with the big TV.
Yeah, movie day.
Yeah.
You're watching something.
Yeah, on like the big roller that they had. What do you call it? A cart. And they bring it in. It's strapped on down. And you're just like, oh, it's going to be a good language arts or social studies.
And I didn't even care what you're watching.
To watch Bill Nye.
You were very excited when it was like a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. But even if it was some dumb educational video that you didn't really care about, you're like, yeah, at least we're just watching a video for like 30 minutes.
Yes, Bill Nye, which isn't dumb. That was actually awesome. I loved it when they were like, yeah, we're going to watch Bill Nye. I'm like, yes. And I could just watch. That was the best. I meant I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, you're just watching a video.
They're like, "Okay, make sure
Lights-
you take down notes." Never did.
Yeah, and it, depending on what it is, like you could maybe close your eyes for a little bit. Teacher's really not going to know if you're sitting further back.
Yeah.
The reason I'm leaning back a little bit, and you'll see me doing this, is the TV to keep up to date on what's happening with Packers and Lions is to my left. But immediately to my left, we have two monitors for Dusty, but it blocks the TV. So I got to lean over here and look at it this way because for whatever reason, these monitors also don't let me play my Rogers or my TELUS videos right now. So I got to figure out how to get that going here a little bit. So if you see me leaning back a little bit today, it's just to keep up to date so we can follow along with this Lions-Packers game. That if you want to bet it live on Play Alberta, the line did stay at -2.5 right now for the Lions, -154 in this one. And stay tuned for the halftime show as Jack White will be performing. But it is also game day. It's a game day for my Ravens today. It's a game day for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the two hosts of the Lock Shop, both of our teams are in it tonight. The other guy who's a part of this, I guess his team's in it too, but he's not here. Huss, let's bring him in on to the show. Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk. How are we doing today?
Well, I'm doing well. I mean, I love this day. Chiefs are playing. We got a great one to kick it off. I'm really intrigued about the late game. Still a little bit choked about our hockey team losing again last night to the Washington Capitals. That's not going to be a fun topic or conversation to be hitting on Winnipeg Sports Talk. But as far as the Lock Shop goes, Maddie, great to see you on a day. Now, let me ask you this about EST. Completely business as usual today? Or was anyone lucky enough to schedule a day off outside of Dusty, who normally would be here on the Lock Shop?
Well, that's being used very loosely, the normally on the Lock Shop these days. No, everyone is here. Everyone is here. No one's booked it. And it's, I don't know, when you work at a sports radio station, like we all get to watch the football.
Yeah.
Like, and this is one that especially like for us, what's the job? We got to be aware of what's going on in the National Football League and stuff. So like we have to have these games on. We can't not be watching these things. So no one has today off. Everyone is scheduled in. As Trev's walking by, he says, except for Dusty. And so, no, we're all ready to be committed to our jobs and watch some football. And I'll actually ask you, because you're not a Lions fan and you're not a Cowboys fan, neither am I. So our teams don't play in this every year. How are you feel? Like, is this something you want your team playing in? Or do you like it a little more if you're not worried about what's coming up with your team playing, and maybe it's a little different with the fact that it's the Cowboys you're kind of going up against? Does this impact your day at all? You feeling a little different today knowing that's the Chiefs playing as opposed to triple header without the Chiefs?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, listen, our teams, yours as well, Cowboy fans, Lions fans, these are massive games. I mean, where we are in the schedule right now and where these teams are in the standings, these all are massive high leverage games. So, yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning and the first thing I thought about was Patrick Mahomes and winning a game, winning a game this afternoon, and where am I going to be? Who am I going to be with? There's many options today. It is a veteran move. If you could just have a regular job in Canada, huge veteran move to get today off, though. I mean, better yet, if you can somehow crank out a 4-day long weekend and then have all the fun of the Americans with the football without any of the family responsibilities. I mean, it's, right in the middle of the week, you get what is going to be probably as good as an NFL Sunday. I mean, obviously not multiple games going on, but all big time games. And, and if you're smart, you can even, I know there's a lot of people that do up. I got a buddy that's doing a turkey today and doubling up on the Thanksgiving fund. So,
well, Pierre LeBrun is a famous Cowboys fan, obviously.
Yes.
And we used to have him as a guest. And I think his day that he was a guest on our station with JMO was always Thursdays. And this time of year, he would not do the hit because he took today off. He wouldn't do anything for TSN. He's committed to just watching his Dallas Cowboys. So like we'd have to move it. I knew I'm not getting Pierre LeBrun on Thanksgiving because he is busy with the Dallas Cowboys. So he's one of those. And I'll say the Americans, I will give them the credit on this one. They make it a 4-day weekend for Thanksgiving. We should add the Friday. Let's make it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday Thanksgiving here in Canada.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what we need.
I'll be honest. I think that I would love it if our Thanksgiving was later.
Really?
Like, I think, well, I mean, okay, the one thing is we usually get it in like the second weekend of October.
Yeah, it's this.
So certainly it's nicer. I mean, if you're doing it in a lot of places in Canada, do you guys have snow on the ground?
No, nothing.
No, we don't either, but it's just starting to get there. And I would say normally we would have snow right now. So, but having it later, especially now with the what's the September 30th, I think is the
National Day of Truth and Reconciliation.
Yeah, so we've got like these 2 holiday days or days off, like within 10 days of each other, sometimes 2 weeks of each other. And then obviously we move. Remembrance Day is a little bit of a different one. You know, having something in and around now. I'm always envious about this weekend of the States. But the thing is, it's a bigger for them. In many families, I mean, Thanksgiving is when you're going home, when you're traveling, when you're getting together with family, as opposed to Christmas, which certainly Christmas is way bigger north of the border than it is for Turkey Day, if you will.
Yes, big time.
What's your setup for watching this game? You got to kind of lean over?
Yeah, well, so we have this. Dusty has this setup, and it's a nice setup for most days. Just there's 2 monitors to my left here. So there's the laptop in front of me, and these 2 monitors I'm connected to. But the only problem with it is right behind them is the side for the TV. So the other person sitting in the other host chair has a clean shot of the TV. I don't. And I've tried putting in my parents have Rogers out here, and I have Telus. So I've tried doing the online stuff. But for whatever reason, these monitors won't do it. As soon as I unplug, it goes on my laptop. With these monitors, it gets blocked for some reason. I got to figure that out. So I've got to lean back for this hour. But in my office, I've got a nice TV. It'll be going. And I will shift there at noon and stuff. What about you? How is your setup for like WST?
I have a big TV right beside me, but I have to kind of turn around. I actually don't have the football on. I have Carrie Anderson and Christina Black. And that's an easy thing. You can just, where are we at? It's 1-1. Okay. And then, Matt, I've just taken the iPad and I have the game on right in front of me, like right here. So it's 3-0, by the way. The Packers just had a nice drive. They got stopped in the red zone. Brandon McManus, 3-0 Packers. Your first touchdown bets are all still live, everybody.
Are you still feeling good about the Lions at -2.5 from yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, I do. I noticed that it got bet to 3. So I mean, we did sort of.
Oh, there was a little bit of movement.
Get that on. Yeah, pretty much all books I saw it went to 3. If you wanted to get the 2.5, I think it finished up at somewhere around like -125. So it would have been beyond what we normally bet at least, under the -120 number for official picks. And the Chiefs are now 3.5. I'm seeing. Yeah.
So we've got 3.5 for the Chiefs, and then the Ravens are 7-point favorites for tonight's game against the Ravens. Let's get into this Chiefs-Cowboys game. The Cowboys coming in. They have the nice comeback win against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs, their comeback win against the Colts. So 2 teams that had, at one point in the week last week, looked like maybe losses were coming, but managed to go get the victories. How are you feeling about the Kansas City Chiefs against this Dallas Cowboys in this 3.5 number?
I mean, listen, from a betting standpoint, the 3.5, I actually put it in on a couple parlays, and we had talked about it before at 2.5. Because I could see this being a close game. That would be very Chiefs-esque. I'm feeling good about getting the win. And that's what they have to have. But I tell you what, Dallas is surprised at times this year. I think the Quinnen Williams ad has really beefed up that run defense. When we talk so much about the Micah Parsons trade and bringing Kenny Clark over, that took them a step forward, and now Quinnen Williams is there. The problem is they're 32nd against the pass. And the Chiefs have a quarterback that can tear you up pretty good. So that's why, I mean, when I look at the markets for this game, I'm going to almost spray the board for touchdown scores. I kind of have a feeling that I'm going to go over 2.5 passing touchdowns for Mahomes. And I think I might put a little smaller amount on the 3.5 because I think we're going to see a Rashee Rice touchdown. Xavier Worthy, 2-1. He's a Texas guy. I think he gets in. I've got him as a first touchdown scorer as well. Kelsey will probably get a piece and then maybe one other guy. So I do think we're going to have a nice spread around offense when it comes to getting in, and a big game for Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, for the Dallas side of things, the Chiefs defense was so good in the second half of that game against Indy. But they are going up against one of the best passing offenses in the NFL. Dak Prescott's been awesome this year. George Pickens, their number 2, is the number 2 receiver in the league. Obviously, you've got CeeDee Lamb. Jake Ferguson's good. So I would love to see this thing just be an absolute score fest. Or the Chiefs keep Dallas down. But that big total, 52.5, wouldn't surprise me if we get the points. We did do that overs around the board for all 3 of the games, which would be nice. I wanted to get, I should have mentioned this yesterday, it would have been fun for the people, kind of a grand salami play for the 3 games, total points for all 3 games put together.
Oh,
And, it's usually you take the kind of the 3 totals and maybe come down a little bit on it. But we missed that. Oh, Jared Goff, a little off right now. We got a 3rd down.
Panic in Detroit. What do you? I like the helmets that the Lions are going with no logo on it, just silver helmet.
Yeah, they Detroit sneaky has some of the best unis. Like that color combo, the blue and silver, is really, really sharp. Problem is that it's been associated with futility for so long. But now that they've been good the last couple of years, they have restored the roar, if you will. And oh man, Jared Goff just about got killed there.
Not a good start for those Detroit Lions.
Big time pass rush from Green Bay. That'll be a big topic.
Is there any pressure on either of these 2 teams to get a victory today? Like if whoever loses, is there a little panic swirling around those 2 organizations? Because I saw somebody, actually I think it was Big Cat. He has his rankings, and in one of them he had the Lions under, like, if lose this week, maybe put on a little bit of I don't want to say, I can't remember how he phrased it, but like close enough, like close to being like fraud watch type thing. How much pressure is on either of these 2 teams to get the victory today between the Packers and the Lions?
Definitely the Lions. Although funny enough, whoever loses this game is going to be outside of the playoffs. Packers are 7-3-1. They're in the 6th hole. The Niners, with their win on Monday night, they're in the 7th spot at 8-4.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Lions at 7-4. Well, if the Lions lose, they're 7-5. And again, chasing Green Bay, Seattle, and San Francisco. If Detroit wins, they'll move to 8-4. They'll join San Francisco. And then all of a sudden, Green Bay is going to be on the other side of it. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's feeling too comfortable if they're outside of the playoffs at the end of this week. And by my calculations, Maddie, whoever loses this game is going to be in that precarious spot. But I think there's a way more pressure on Detroit because, A, they're starting in the position outside. And, of course, they've got the home game. And they've already lost to the Green Bay Packers in the opening game of the season in Lambeau. So you've also got the tiebreaker waiting in the wings as well.
Yeah, looking at their schedules too, the Lions, Packers obviously today, they get the Cowboys next week. They then go to LA to take on the Rams, which, with the way the Rams are playing, a very tough game that will be. They get the Steelers, they get the Vikings, they get the Bears to end the season. So we'll see how that is. As for the Packers, they go to the Bears, Broncos, Bears over the next 3. So I guess we're going to learn who the Chicago Bears are at the very least. And then they close out with Ravens, Vikings. So we'll see what the Ravens might be looking like late at that point as well. Who are you confident of this season right now? Who do you put in a level where that you are confident in putting them as true favorites to go maybe win the Super Bowl? Because I feel like across the board, there's no one I'm outright just confident like there are other years. Like in the last few years, you could say Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. They're going to be fighting for the AFC come January. I don't feel that comfortable with almost anyone.
No, you're right. And I mean, Maddie, I know we went through this earlier in the year or in the week, but the futures tell the story. I mean, listen, I think the Rams are the favorite right now to win the Super Bowl. They've been the best team throughout the year. They've got the quarterback playing at the highest level. They've got a hell of a great head coach. They've done it before. So they deserve to be that that favorite, especially with the wins that they've had so far this year. And then you dive in a little bit, and that loss they have to Philly, who's number 2 on the board, was essentially a miracle. They outplayed them for most of the game. They had the 2 blocked field goals that ended up blowing up in their face. So to me, the Rams are the favorite, and they should be. I'm out on Philly. I know Philly's number 2. People have heard me say this before, but I mean, they've been outgained in almost every game that they played so far this year. We just saw them blow a 21-0 lead to Dallas. Like, there's something up in Philly, and they can't run the football like they did before last year. So then you look at the rest of the NFC. The Bears, I'm out on the Bears. Tampa, if they're healthy with the healthy Baker Mayfield, I think actually might be the biggest challenge to LA, but they're so far away from that. With guys being done, Baker's out right now. They will be there, and they should win that division. Although if all of a sudden it's Teddy Bridgewater for a few weeks, that all of a sudden gets interesting. I do think Seattle's a really good team, and even with the 4 picks from Darnold to be and hang with the Rams to a 2-point game, I think then gives them some confidence. And the Niners are a team that even when their record's a little different, they've had success against the Rams. They beat the Rams earlier this year with a bunch of backups in. So, I mean, Detroit and Green Bay, I still think are legit teams. And I think whoever wins this game is going to be in a very good position to win the NFC North and be the challenge for the Rams. And then over on the other side of things, I mean, the Chiefs have the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Bills are right there, the Ravens. And I guess we're going to find out about New England, about Denver, about Indianapolis. But like I said before, I wouldn't be surprised if those teams win their divisions, have home games in week 1 of the playoffs, and are underdogs at home. Like if the Bills were going to New England in the playoffs, do you think the Patriots would be favored? I don't know. I think it's probably the Bills.
You still have to give it to the experience.
Yeah.
Like as good of a season as the
wild card team and going to Denver or Indy, do we think that they're going to be the dogs? I doubt it.
Well, did you see the news of Daniel Jones? Come out like he's got a fractured fibula. Seems like he still will be pretty like this has just come out for me in Apropos and stuff. He's a full participant. So he should be good to go, but he's also dealing with potentially some sort of issue that really hasn't been known about. So we'll see how that impacts him for the rest of this season. But yeah, like for the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, like I do think that there's a good chance that if they're going up against the Bills or a Chiefs team, if they're favorites, it's almost at pick'em territory. Like I don't know how you could put the Bills or the Chiefs as just real underdogs, just based off of their experience in the playoffs, because it's different. And maybe that it's just going to take one win and those teams can go off. But in the AFC, I'm just not sold yet on the Patriots, Broncos, or the Colts doing any. I'm actually just also not fully sold on the Colts, largely still yet. But for the Broncos or the Patriots, like they're sitting outside the playoffs right now. But I would rather put money on the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl right now, or even just representing the AFC, than any of the top 3 teams in the AFC.
Yeah,
without question.
I'm right there with you. I think that's, and certainly, I mean, if you look at the odds, I mean, the bookies would say that is the way it should be. By the way, just as an aside, did you see that Brandon Cooks signed with the Bills?
I did.
That's a nice little ad.
Don't have much for receiving, so anything could help them.
I'm stunned that they didn't do something more at the deadline for that receiving core, especially when, you know, your first round pick, that Keon Coleman, can't even get into games. Khalil Shakir's a great possession receiver. Gabe Davis has a big game once every 6 weeks. But I mean, Josh Allen doesn't really have a lot to lean on there. So, I mean, a guy like Cooks that has played at a high level, he is 32, but can you squeeze out a few more performances from him? I don't know. I like that one. I think he's been a guy that, you know, has shown that he can be effective, especially with quality quarterbacking. And, you know, you should get that. He said the big reason why he came back and did right now is that he wanted to play with Josh Allen.
Ravens, Bengals tonight. 7-point favorites are the Ravens at home. Bengals get Joe Burrow back. Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton not listed on the injury report. Lamar has been dealing with a little bit of a toe. Kyle Hamilton rolled his ankle, it looked like, late in the win over the Jets this weekend, but on the short week, they don't have any injury designation, so they should be good to go. Do you think the bump of having Joe Burrow back will help the Bengals at the very least, maybe win, but at the very least cover 7 points?
Yeah, I think for a divisional game like this, with the bump of getting Joe Burrow back, even with T. Higgins out, I think is going to give us a quality game that is worth jumping on the 7, or even the 7.5 if you want to be a little bit more conservative. I see that number's sort of moving around all over the place. We've got I was looking. I saw 7.5 at -115. That's just gone to -119. But the 7 still in and around. Like, what do you have? Just basically like -108, -110 for the 7 for the Bengals?
-105 for the 7.
-105. Okay, that's what I'm seeing as well. So listen, that's a nice number. And again, if you do want to get the half point, you could still get it under the -120. Listen, the Bengals, even when they're terrible, like earlier this year, I think it was Flacco's first game. They go in and they beat Pittsburgh outright.
Yeah.
Like all of these teams, and I'll include Cleveland in there as well. I mean, these teams just play closer games. We're used to the Bengals being terrible all year. I know Joe Burrow's missed 2 months plus, but the Ravens haven't been at even close to their level. And listen, they haven't had to, and that's why they haven't pushed Lamar. Let me ask you this. Normally, we'd be saying Lamar Jackson, I mean, rushing yards, it's only like 26.5. He seemingly hasn't even tried to run the last couple games. Do we think that changes in this game tonight, or is that a stay away because right now he's just not 100% and they're going to do what they've been doing?
I hope he's not 100% and you just keep doing what you're doing and you save the running until it's absolutely necessary. But the injury designation being gone, maybe they feel he's pretty good, and we'll see that. That's how we're always going to know if Lamar is healthy or not moving for the rest of this season. If we see him be a little bit more mobile, okay, he's feeling good and he's back to feeling, you'll never get to 100 this season, but closer to that. It's almost like you just in the Grey Cup game, you just knew Davis Alexander didn't have it in the first half because he wasn't doing his thing. It's interesting because this Ravens offense, like when Lamar came back and they dominated the Dolphins, okay, it looked good. They sent a little bit of a message. But after that, this Ravens offense has struggled mightily. Got off to a slow start against the Vikings. And then even there, the other big concern that the Ravens offense, I think right now has is red zone offense. I think going in during last week, I haven't looked it up. I'll have to quickly look it up here, but I think they're like 20th in the NFL in red zone offense. Just it's not good enough. And that Viking games is one of the key ones where they marched after once they started going and they were trailing the Vikings and they started marching the ball a little bit more. They had no problem getting down into the red zone, but they couldn't finish it off and they were settling for way too many field goals. The Browns game got off to a slow start. Jets game was not a good, that first half, it wasn't solid by the Baltimore Ravens. They eventually then just took over in the second half and finished it off. But this is an offense that, as a Ravens fan, I've got my concerns about it. I've got my concerns of what they're able to accomplish. And if Lamar can't run at the very least, that's the neutralizing aspect for other defenses to find a way to beat the Baltimore Ravens. And especially if they're a team that's just not going to get, they're going to settle for field goals. That's not going to be good enough because the Ravens defense just hasn't been anything close to what we thought this Ravens defense was going to be this season. And then it is just a divisional game. And if you look at the history of the Ravens divisionally, they're always close. They may win them, but they're always close. And when I see a 7 number on the Ravens, I want them to win. I want them to win by more than 7. I want to be comfortable tonight. I want to sit there with the hands on the back of the head going, okay, Bills, go beat the Steelers this weekend. Let's create some separation to top the AFC North. But I have a feeling that I'm going to be sitting on my seat nervous right up until the final whistle in that one. That, like, I'm with you on the Chiefs winning. I'm also with you on the Bengals covering. That I'm willing to throw up a quick parlay if you're good with this of Chiefs -3.5 and going Bengals 7.5. We'll just bump that one up a little bit.
Yeah.
And get that little boosted and throwing that up there for the late games.
Yeah, for the people. Get in there. Let's ride with the Chiefs and Joey Burr.
How do you think he does today?
2-2, Carey Anderson and Black.
Oh.
Black with the hammer now in 6.
Okay, do you think Anderson has a shot to take down Homan in a best of 3?
I mean, does she have a chance? Yes. The chance is probably under 10%. Did you see Rachel Homan's record this year? I think coming into this, she had like 4 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, they're winning at a clip that just simply does not happen in curling. I think they were a minus 1250 favorite to win this event before it started.
I think they're lost because I think they lost to the Alberta Skrillex rink. It was like their first loss to a Canadian rink in some time. I think that's what the stat was. Like Homan's on a different level right now.
Yeah.
And now that's the one they've made it a best of 3, which if it was a single like we're used to seeing in curling, you just never know about that one game. And if somebody can go have a great game, it's the Anderson rink. We know that. We've seen it. They won multiple Scotties in a row. But the fact that it's a best of 3, that's the part that you sit there and like, this is destined for Homan to go through, because I just don't see how she's going to lose 2 out of 3 to likely Anderson, but we'll see if the team from Nova Scotia, Team Black, could find a way to get there. What end was it? 2-2?
It's just going. That was the end of 5.
Oh, okay.
So Black has the hammer, which is what you want in the even numbered ends. Carey's going to look for a steal. Now for the guys, are we getting that game tonight?
I believe it is. I believe it's tonight, and then we get into tomorrow's game 1. Saturdays are game 2s, and Sundays are game 3s if necessary. I believe it's at 6.
Yeah, the standing. So it's McEwen and Maddie Dunstone.
Yeah.
Dunstone escaped with some sort of a tiebreaker over Brad Gushu. I don't really understand how.
Head to head.
They've got heavy analytics. Oh, head to head if it's a 2-team. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Head to head. So it was they had the win, and then Gushu missed the shot yesterday, which forced the tiebreaker scenario, and that pushed Dunstone through. And then you got the Alberta rink, Brad Jacobs rink, who are Brier champs. They're already through to that final as well. So I'm very sad I haven't watched enough curling this week. I've just been busy with other things, and it's just one. It's always a great event. This is one of the best curling events you'll see in terms of competition, and I'm sad I haven't been able to watch enough of that this week.
Well, this final should be good. Do you have odds for the curling?
We don't have odds with Play Alberta for these trials. We just have Olympic odds, which I don't know.
So yeah, this is really tight. I mean, Dunstone minus 118, McEwen minus 109. So I mean, it's pretty close to a pick'em. Dunstone by a hair right now, and then obviously there's a rock line as well. And there's no total. I mean, Jacobs is going to be tough to beat. I do think that if McEwen can, or if Dunstone can get past McEwen in the semi, they'll be live against the Jacobs rink. You got the Hardens there right now. Colton Lott's a really great player, and Dunstone can make the big shot. They just had got off it a little bit after that great start, but I think they feel somewhat fortunate to be in the semi. Like maybe they're playing with a little bit of house money, and if they can get hot, they move forward on that and make it happen.
By the way, punt by the Detroit Lions. So the Packers getting the ball back. Live odds. The Packers now favorited minus 1.5 in this game. Lions plus 1.5. But minus 125 money line for the Packers, minus 105 for the Lions in this one. So a little bit of movement there. The Packers, they had that first drive, but the Lions just haven't been able to get anything going offensively. Just a couple minutes to go in the first quarter. So this is fun doing live lines. I've never done that one before. I've never had to do this show, but be able to be like to adjust it as it's going with the game going on. This is fun.
Where did the punt go to? Is it regular field position, like deep in their own end?
Green Bay's 23.
Oh, maybe this is the time to get in on the Lions and money line. considering I've been.
That's not good. It's so far. So there's 3:26 left in the first. Lions only have 10 yards of total offense. They only have 1 first down. 0 for 2 on third downs right now. And time of possession early on. Now this is first quarter still. 7:35 for the Packers, 3:59 for the Lions. So the Packers just controlling this football right now early in this game. And Maverick saying St. Brown out. Did he get hurt? That's not good for my fantasy team. He needs to carry my fantasy team.
Amon Ra. What do you find there?
He was down just a couple minutes ago. Headed to the locker room. Looked like maybe an apparent lower leg injury. So that's not good for the Detroit Lions if he can't get back into this game. So that we shall see. That's just overall for the Lions. Who cares about even this game? Losing a guy like St. Brown, that's a huge loss for the Detroit Lions if he's going to be out any sort of long term. And we didn't really get this. Any other real player props that you're looking, especially for Bengals Ravens, that you look at for today?
What do we have? What's the I think it's going to be Jamar Chase all day. Coming back from his suspension last week, getting his quarterback back, no T. Higgins. Like the Jamar Chase number.
Over under 92.5 receiving yards. And in terms of receptions, Jamar Chase over under 7.5 receptions in this game.
Yeah, and what's the over? Like minus
145.
Yeah,
for the 7.5 receptions, really, and it's minus over. 118 for over 92.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm going with the yards on that one. I mean, the number of catches is such a big one, but
that's massive.
They're going to be going to it. Like, how are you feeling about the Ravens secondary right now? I know they lost guys earlier. Is that coming around a little bit, or is that still an area of concern?
I'm not sold on this. Just the defense in general. They have gotten some of those guys back, but this is a defense that it seems like is just going to give up the yards. And close games against the, especially through the first half against the Vikings, Browns, and Jets. Like, it shouldn't be. But the Jets were able to move the ball at times against the Ravens. Like, it was late fourth quarter. If it wasn't for a fumble at the 2 that the Jets had, they were knocking on the door. They had a 40-yard play late in that game when they were only down by 10. Like, the Ravens will allow a team to come back into it seems right now, partly because the defense just struggles closing things out. And part of that is just the John Harbaugh recent era. He's been there for a long time, but in the recent history, we saw the stats after the Bills lost the opening game of the season. This is a team that just can't close it down in the fourth quarter even. That I'm still just not sold on this Ravens defense. And so a Jamar Chase coming back, this is a guy that I think, again, he's destined for 100-plus yards. The reception, it's just too high. Like 7.5, that's a lot of catches to get. I could see him getting 100 yards in 5 or 6 catches.
No, for sure. So I'll be with you on the over on the yardage number. Oh, Josh Jacobs is looking good today. Big run on 3rd and 2. They're now inside the 40. Packers are looking good. We need my lines to wake up. Is Dusty watching this game today? Does he have a big Thanksgiving feast planned? Has he got the family going?
Parent-teacher interviews. So he has to look after the kids while Tam's dealing with those things. But that's what he says. I don't know. I haven't fact-checked this. I don't know if the schools are doing this. I don't know if this is just, I don't think at this moment in time we could just trust him to take his word for things. This was a guy that last week says he's going to be here until further notice, for a while when it comes to things like the Lock Shop and our noon shows. And he's not here. So it's convenient that he was here this morning, but then isn't here for the Lock Shop or Two Guys and a Goalie on the day that his Lions are playing some football.
I mean, there were some eyebrows raised. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Hey, Maddie, different topic for a minute. Do you trust the numbers and the data we get nightly from NHL games? Like, are we wasting our time looking at these high danger scoring chance numbers? Like, the data itself, is it trustworthy?
I've never really thought of it. Like, in terms of what way are they trustworthy? Like, that whoever's calculating the stuff aren't who's collecting the data or whether the data is useful. Like
who's deciding what are shots, who's putting I know the XG model is shots from certain areas are weighted like this.
Yeah.
Point blank is weighted more than a soft wrister from the blue line, all of that. And then, that's how you get like the deserve to win a meter on Money Puck, as well as, the natural stat trick numbers.
I'm of the mindset that they're tools. There's something to be used to analyze, but I don't like them game by game. I think that there's sometimes just little variables, and you just never know, to your point, like even a shot in a high danger spot sometimes could just be a shot right in the chest. It's not that great of a shot. And there are, not all shots are created equal in those situations. And then we know, even if you just go beyond to just the standard stats that we have, like hits, very subjective, barn to barn, stat person to stat person. It's the same. Like I'll just reference like radio rating numbers. We could have at one point I was able to look at day by day, and there's a reason you don't look day by day, because it just takes one person to not listen and your numbers completely drop or something like that. And that's why we average it out over 3 months. So for this stuff, I do buy into it, but I'm not into like, okay, this is just what happened in the one game. I think it's something that needs to be averaged out and, taken at a sample size of, let's say, 10 games. And then I put a little bit more stock into things like that. But on a single game, like the deserve, I get it, and I get it's 1,000 simulations, and I understand it. But it's not something I'll sit there and be like, well, yeah, the Oilers were at a 72, but they lost this game because of this. Like, no, they lost the game. They didn't deserve to win. They got outplayed. That's what we watched. That's what we saw. So I'm mixed on it. I believe it's very important. I believe it's a tool. I'm not one that likes it game by game as much.
I'm with you. And by the way, radio ratings, unless you guys were a PPM market.
Yeah, we're PPM, so it's different than the diary.
So
the diary's
the
worse.
Diary is the biggest joke, like huge $100,000 campaigns being based on whether one guy remembered to go into his diary and write down what he was listening to. It's a complete scam, but I digress. This game last night with the Jets and the Caps, Washington scored a couple early. Gabe Velarde comes back with a late goal. They get a power play early when it's tied. They go through probably 15 minutes stuck on 8 shots on goal as Washington gets more and more. The final shots in the game were 34 for Washington to 21 for Winnipeg. And yet the high danger scoring chances recorded were 17-8 in favor of the Jets. And I'm pulling up this Money Puck number from last night's game, and the deserve to win a meter has the Jets at 71.4%. Now, and listen, I don't want to trigger Oiler fans because you've been talking about this nonstop, but now it's happening to the team with the best goalie in the league. Hellebuck's gone, and we're looking for somebody to mix in a save. Like 2 goals last night were basically wristers ripped from the point. There was one breakaway that you really sort of needed it. And then one other goal that was just, a slap shot, one-timer, but, well out. But it's just funny how, you watch a game and you sort of feel the flow of the game. And the Jets had a couple really good stretches, like 5-6 minutes. But, it wasn't consistent. It wasn't enough. I didn't think that they were the better team. And yet I'm looking at these numbers to describe what we saw last night. And it basically tells me that I was watching a different game.
I just read up on that last week during the hangout. And one of the definitions about it is it's the game simulated 1,000 times, but what if both teams had average goaltending? And that, to me, that it almost sounds more like then it's just a goaltending stat. Was your goaltending good or bad kind of in that game? And to a degree, I don't know, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. But the thing is, in games, you don't have where game goalies are average. Sometimes you just go up against a team that has a goalie that's playing out of this world. The Ben Scrivens 59 save night here in Edmonton. Like one of those where that happens. And that's, You didn't find a way to beat the goalie. That I understand where it's coming from, but also it's not one that it's an end-all, be-all for me. That, when the Oilers lose a game and I see the deserve-o-meter go extremely high, I don't rip. They'd be like, wow, this on this. Because, yeah, with some of those stats, I could see that there could be a little skewed at times depending on who's determining a certain things.
You know what? I'll say this about Money Puck, and I'm just pulling up this Jets Caps game from last night. They do note on the goals, like the first goal that the Caps scored. Where is this here? I'm just trying to get it on. They said, yeah, it had a 4.2 chance of scoring, 4.2%. So, I mean, very, very low, and it went in. The next one, this goal I've got to get on there. So many things happening on this. 13.5% chance of scoring. So, yeah, they're looking and saying that oh my God, their other goal, 1.5% chance of scoring. So essentially they're saying that Eric Comrie was brutal last night. Because the expected goals in that game, all situations, 4.65 for Winnipeg, 2.44 for the Caps. I really want to get more into this and trust these numbers more.
But yeah, it's a goaltending thing to me. Like, it's saying that if the Winnipeg Jets just had average goaltending yesterday, 70% of the times that game's played, the Jets are winning that hockey game. They didn't get average goaltending. And that's kind of where I've come to understand the deserve-o-meter. Packers scored a touchdown. I think it was a 4th and 2, but I think it's coming back.
Yeah,
because he's got one. Right. No, he's got 2. I think that's a catch and the foot's down. Oh, he bobbled it there a little bit. Oh, that's going to be a tight one. And I think that was a 4th and 2 on this one.
Oh, my God. That would be huge. So it's either a touchdown or a turnover?
I think. The play. Yeah, that's a touchdown. That's standing. 10-0. Green Bay Packers, early second quarter. So
Lions, let's get your act together. I'm glad we just put together a 2-gamer because this is the one that could go awry on me, Matt.
Yeah, but 3.5. The line's already changed. 3.5 for the Packers. -3.5 for the Packers. At +100. If you think the Packers could cover 3.5, it's +100 right now.
Well, they're up 10. I mean, that actually might not be a bad.
No, that's dropped. It's now it's out at -111 now. It switched from +100 to -111 just like that.
Live odds is fascinating. I don't spend a lot of time just staring down live odds throughout the day, but on a day like this, actually, quite often you do end up spending quite a bit of time doing it. But yeah, I'm rolling with you. I'll just put this together +266 in around 3-1 on it. Anything else we like in this football game today? Where are you on the Cowboys? Any props?
I don't have anything on them. I like the Cowboys are a team. Like I would look at receptions for the receiver. Like I do think that the Packers or the Cowboys are going to try to open this up and air it out a bit. So Pickens receptions or things like that. I think they had their big win last week, the Cowboys. And I think we could see that they might be destined for in this one quite a bit of a letdown where the Chiefs just come and the Chiefs just aren't known to being that team that dominates, 35-10 or something like that. But being a team that's just going to be in control of this and be up 10 to 14 points. And the Cowboys, if they're going to get anything, it's going to be late fourth quarter, a little bit of garbage to make this game maybe a bit closer. But I feel like just the big comeback down 21 from the Eagles. They did it against their division rival last week. They're not going to have it in them to come up against the team that is in a much bigger spot fighting for playoff spot. The Chiefs, they need this one. If they're sitting, 10th right now currently in the AFC? Like now... What do the Chiefs have the rest of the way? The Chiefs
they got the Texans next week.
Chargers.
And then they've got Titans, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, I believe.
So there's a lot of winnable games still for the Chiefs, but you don't want to be in a situation of, okay, well, we now have to run the table. You want to put a couple in the bank if you might have a stumble a little bit later or so. That I just think the Chiefs, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be fired up. And what is it? I think it's the 4th straight game now. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are going to be calling the Chiefs game. So you're play-by-play guys calling your football.
Tony, I don't know. Tony's no longer, like at the start, it was kind of fun. He knew it every play. He's mailing it in so much now.
Isn't he?
Like he shows up who's playing. What do we got? It's like Tony, he signed the deal. He's showing up. He'll crack a few jokes. He'll say his dumb laugh.
Says the most generic stuff nowadays. Doesn't really break down the games. One of the things that came up was apparently he was told that teams didn't like him calling out those plays. Okay, fine. Pull that back. You're not going to be Mr. Wizard calling these plays ahead of time. But have better analysis on what's happening. And far too often rolls over what Jim Nantz is saying. The Chiefs' victory against the 49ers, I think he did it completely there in that overtime. So yeah. He's honestly the main boost of the NFL. They can use a bit of a kickstart a little bit. Tom Brady's not good enough.
No,
not to be number one.
Buck and Aikman are killing it right now.
Yep.
Like that. And they've at the start, I'm like, and sometimes Aikman can be a little cantankerous, but he's excellent in breaking it down, and he gives it to you straight. I mean, Collinsworth is funny. I mean, I'm a big Al Michaels guy, but you're right. The Romo booth and the Brady one's not good. Greg Olson's probably the best.
He is
outside of Aikman, and he got demoted. He's doing like, the Panthers-Bears game at noon on Sunday while they're throwing Brady out there because of all of his the cachet that comes with him.
Also, he does it for Westworld 1, so you can still hear it. But Kevin Harlan has to be doing bigger games.
Dude, he's the best.
Isn't he?
Kevin Harlan, I think he might be I'm so glad you brought him up because, I mean, he's on all sorts of different booths. He does everything. But, man, he is the best. And listen, as a radio guy, you'll know where I'm going with this. He has some of the greatest calls of all time on, like, drunks running on the field, rabbits around. I mean, he can just take things. And maybe my favorite call ever from a Chiefs perspective was back in 2019, that final game of the season where the Chiefs were playing whoever it was. And meanwhile, Miami was beating the Patriots. They was happening at the same time. And it was a split screen. And he was calling basically both games because with the Chiefs scoring and Miami scoring, all of a sudden they got the 1 seed. And can't remember who was in the booth was. He's like, which game are you calling? He's like, I'm calling both games. He's got that energy, that passion.
And he paints a picture so perfectly on radio that not everyone can do. Haas, what's coming up on WST? Obviously, a lot of reaction to Jets and some NFL.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to dive into that. Murat Atesh is going to join us. Murat's a big-time analytics guy. I'll ask him, I mean, is this stuff that we're seeing from last night's game legit? Or are we being snowed a little bit? And how the hell do they find some secondary scoring? Can they make a save without Connor Hellebuck? All of that. Danny Jilkin from the Moose having a nice season. He's going to jump on with us. And then John Cullen on curling. We're going to get the lowdown on what's cracking for the men's semifinals, and we'll find out how our girl Carrie Anerson does. She is down 3-2 with the hammer in the 7th end right now. So coming down to the nitty-gritty in Halifax for the women for who gets to go head-to-head with Rachel Holman.
All right, looking forward to that, Huss. Enjoy that, and maybe the backup host will be on with you tomorrow.
Hey, good luck to your Ravens. Let's go Chiefs. Everyone, enjoy today. We'll see you tomorrow. Another NFL game tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And tons of NHL. So we'll have lots to cook up in the lock shop tomorrow before Bears, Eagles, 1 o'clock your time.
#justice for Huss. Enjoy that, Huss. Winnipeg Sports Talk. Go check that out on their YouTube channel. Coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, we got two guys in a goalie. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins Show all until 6 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, Turf District on our audio streams. On behalf of us, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. EST Sports, EST 50. Deposit 50, get a free $50 sports bet for a few more days over at Play Alberta. Again, on behalf of us, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in. Two guys in goalie coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.